Hey there. This is Timothy Archibald. I am the Associate Director of the Photography Department at the Academy of Art. And I wanted to show you some things in my office in this nice light on this beautiful day. And my office here it's actually the two-car garage in my suburban home in the East Bay. And originally it was built to be a darkroom that would be, it could be light tight. And when I stopped shooting film and processing black and white here in the home and shifted over to digital, it was no longer a darkroom. And now it's just kind of a big, beautiful space that I use to as an office, and I'm a commercial photographer, and so I don't shoot here, but this is where a lot of the planning's done and the inspiration's done and the communication is done. And then now this is where all the classes are conducted as well. So what we have up here is a test strip for a photograph that I did a couple years ago that is a photographer in the Midwest, Keith Cotton, is trading me this image for an image of his that I've always loved. And so even during the pandemic, my lab is still working and things are slower, but they still do great work. So that just happens to be here. That's where we set this up. And so I'll show you some other things as well. So even though school is not meeting, there's still a lot of stuff going on, and I'm planning for when we all get back together. And here is a beautiful, beautiful photograph by the commercial photographer Tim Tatter. Tim just did this amazing fundraiser, which was called Art for Assistance, where he offered this photograph taken by him for sale for $100, with 100% of the proceeds went to support his assistants who are currently out of work because of the shelter in place rule. So this was a great cause to support, and I've enjoyed Tim's work over the years. And I know students have mentioned his work and really been into it. And this is just an absolutely beautiful image. And this came this week. And so I'm definitely going to get this ready for the office when we all get together. And then here on the table is another thing that is absolutely beautiful, which is a painting by my sister, Robin Heberling. And she is Cincinnati based. She's a watercolor artist. And this is a photograph she did of my two sons. Well, it's a painting, a watercolor painting of a photograph of my two sons. And I need to get that framed as well. You know, speaking of getting things framed, I think it was like the first week that I was at the school, there was a sale at Magnum about concerning the work of the photographer Ouija. And I've always been a fan of Ouija's. Here is a book about Ouija's life, and then here's a collection of Ouija's photographs. And so Magnum had this big sale, and I never buy anything really, but I felt I needed or could justify getting these prints. And here is a Ouija photograph purchased by Magnum, small. And then a subsequent one, I think this one is called, it's either called like Space Age Kiss or something like that. And I've loved Ouija's works for years. And I'd never really hang them in my house, but working at the school, I thought it would be a great kind of history of photography type of thing, or maybe I was just trying to justify it. I don't know, but really excited to hang his stuff up back in the office when we all get together. As a photographer, and I think anyone who knows me, I've always been someone who has appreciated the power of photography books. And, you know, I've got a lot of stuff in my office at school, but I still have a lot of great ones here at home. And I think anyone who's taken my grad class knows this book, Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, where the grad class, I think we've essentially based the whole class around it in a way. And then, my book, Echolalia, people still buy this thing 10 years later. So we have a stack of those going out right now. Then there's a couple things, kind of commercial things that kind of came together since we've been back here. This is a source book ad that we had to look at color proofs for, that was going to appear in the workbook. Oh, let's see. So these things are always kind of nice to see in the reel. Oh, here, you know, I never thought I'd be the baby photographer, but here is a beautiful project we did for Stanford Magazine, which is with this beautiful baby on the cover. And photographing babies is a nightmare. But all you need is one, and it comes together good. And this is has beautiful, beautiful graphic design by Georgia Virgili, who is the art director at Stanford Magazine. And we had some humorous photographs here as well. I think there's one more that was pretty funny. Oh, I just like the stressed out dad here. He was a trooper, and it was 5 o'clock, which is never a great time to photograph kids, but he was great and the kids were great. He's Dr. Michael Frank. So there's those things going on here. And then we'll look at one last thing, which is over here, and we'll kind of zip over to it. And now the last thing in my office that I wanted to show you, because it's almost like a piece of furniture. It's been here so long. It's not this rosemary plant in a skull, but it's what it's on. It is this massive crate, which, curiously enough, I had a show at the Wellcome Foundation in London, England. How that ever happened, I have no idea, but it was this big thing. And they needed the images, and we had to make the images in London, and then they had them framed there, and they were big and they were beautiful, and somehow, in another economy, they had the money to ship them back to me in this giant crate. And so, I guess I thought I would get just some paper prints in a tube, but instead, this giant crate arrived, and honestly, this was probably 2 years ago. I have never opened this crate. So that's it. Just wanted to give you guys a quick tour of my studio, and I hope to see everyone soon. Bye-bye.